66 million years ago, at exactly 11:47 in the morning, the world ended. Not gradually, not with warning. In a single second, a rock from space, traveling faster than a bullet, erased 165 million years of evolution. But here's what nobody talks about. What was that last morning like? What did the dinosaurs see before the sky caught fire? Tonight, I'm taking you back to the final hours, from sunrise to apocalypse. By the end, you'll understand why we're here and they're not. Let's go back to the last day. It's dawn, approximately 6 hours before impact. The sun rises over what will one day be called the Yucatan Peninsula. Right now, it's a shallow tropical sea, warm and perfect. The water glows turquoise in the early light. The temperature is about 80 degrees. The entire planet is warmer in the late Cretaceous. No ice caps exist anywhere. The continents are still drifting apart, and flowering plants, a recent evolutionary invention, cover the land in colors the world has never seen before. 200 miles inland, in a river valley surrounded by ancient conifers and magnolias, a herd of triceratops is waking up. These aren't the slow, stupid creatures from children's books. They're sophisticated animals. Each one weighs 6 tons and sports 3 horns that can grow up to 3 feet long. Their bony neck frill isn't just for show, it's armor, protection from the one predator they truly fear. The herd is about 15 strong. Mothers stay close to their calves. The adults form a loose defensive circle, always watching the tree line, because they know what lives in those trees. About a mile away, in the shadow of massive conifers, a female Tyrannosaurus rex opens her eyes. She's 40 feet long from nose to tail and weighs 9 tons. Her jaw can bite down with 12,800 pounds of force, enough to crush a car. Her teeth, some as long as bananas, are designed to tear through bone. She's been resting near the remains of yesterday's kill, a young duck-billed Edmontosaurus. Flies swarm the carcass, but there's still meat on it. She feeds briefly, ripping off chunks of flesh with casual violence. But she's still hungry. She's always hungry. T-Rex has a metabolism that demands constant fuel. She needs to eat about 10% of her body weight every few days. That means she's always hunting, always calculating, always watching for weakness. She lifts her massive head and tests the air. Her sense of smell is extraordinary, better than a modern vulture's. She can detect a dying animal from miles away. This morning, she smells opportunity. The Triceratops herd is downwind, and one of them is injured. She can smell the infection, the rotting tissue, the weakness. She begins to move through the forest, silent despite her size, each footstep carefully placed to avoid snapping branches. The hunt has begun. This is a normal morning in the late Cretaceous. Predators hunt, prey tries to survive. The sun climbs higher, and no one knows that in 6 hours, none of this will matter. Above them, beyond the blue sky, beyond the thin atmosphere, a rock 6 miles wide is accelerating toward Earth at 45,000 miles per hour. It's been traveling for millions of years. Now it's less than 6 hours away, and there's absolutely nothing that can stop it. It's mid-morning now. The sun is high and bright. The Triceratops herd has moved to the river to drink. They do this every day, following the same paths their parents followed, worn deep into the earth by millions of years of footsteps. The injured male is lagging behind. His left rear leg drags slightly, an old wound from a fight with another male, now infected. He's slower than the others, and he knows it. The T-Rex knows it too. She's been tracking the herd for 2 hours, staying just out of sight in the tree line. This isn't random violence. This is strategy, patience, mathematics. She's learned from experience that attacking a healthy Triceratops in the middle of a herd is suicide. Those horns can kill her. She's seen it happen to another T-Rex who got too ambitious. Now, she'll wait until the injured male is truly isolated, until the herd has moved on and he's alone. The moment comes sooner than expected. The herd finishes drinking and begins to move downstream, searching for fresh vegetation. But the injured male is too exhausted. He stops to rest in the shallow water, just for a moment. That moment is all she needs. The T-Rex explodes from the forest like a nightmare made flesh. Despite her massive size, she can run at nearly 25 miles per hour in short bursts. Each footstep shakes the ground. The injured Triceratops sees her coming and bellows in alarm, but it's too late to escape. He turns to face her, lowering his massive head, presenting his horns. It's the only defense he has.
She doesn't attack head-on. That's how you die. Instead, she circles, looking for an opening. The Triceratops tries to keep his horns pointed at her, but he's slow, injured, exhausted. She feints left. He turns. She pivots right and lunges for his exposed flank. Her jaws close just behind his ribs. Teeth penetrate deep into muscle. The Triceratops screams, a sound that echoes across the valley like a trumpet of agony. He swings his massive head around, trying to gore her, and one horn catches her upper leg. Not deep, but enough to draw blood, enough to make her release him. They separate, both breathing hard. Blood drips into the river, turning the water pink. The other Triceratops have heard the commotion. A few adults start moving back toward their fallen herd member, but they're too far away. By the time they arrive, this will be over. The T-Rex knows this. She charges again. This time she goes for the throat. Her jaws clamp down on the Triceratops' neck, just behind the frill. She twists. Bone cracks. The Triceratops tries to shake her off, but he's too weak now. Too much blood loss. He collapses into the shallow water. The T-Rex holds on until the struggling stops. Then, finally, she releases her grip and begins to feed. This is what the end of the world looks like for this Triceratops. Not an asteroid, not fire from the sky. Just a predator doing what predators do. But in 3 hours, the T-Rex who killed him will be dead too. She just doesn't know it yet. While the T-Rex feeds, life continues elsewhere. Along the coast, a flock of pteranodons, giant flying reptiles with 20-foot wingspans, soar on thermal updrafts. They're not dinosaurs, technically, but they've shared the planet with them for millions of years. They're scanning the water for fish. The shallow sea is rich with life. Ancient sharks, sea turtles, massive marine reptiles called mosasaurs. One pteranodon spots movement below and folds its wings, diving like a missile. It hits the water at 50 miles per hour and emerges with a fish clamped in its toothless beak. It doesn't know that in a few hours, the sea below will vaporize, that every living thing in these waters will be instantly killed by heat and pressure beyond imagination. Right now, everything is normal. Everything is fine. Beneath the waves, a mosasaurus glides through the murky water like a submarine. It's 40 feet long with jaws that can unhinge like a snake's. It's hunting a giant sea turtle, stalking it with patient precision. The turtle senses danger and dives toward the sea floor, but it's not fast enough. The mosasaurus accelerates with powerful strokes of its tail and clamps down. The struggle lasts only seconds. This is the food chain in action, the fundamental law of nature: eat or be eaten. In 3 hours, this law will be suspended. For a brief time, nothing will eat, and everything will die. Inland, in a clearing surrounded by ferns and flowering plants, a group of small feathered dinosaurs called dromaeosaurs are hunting in a pack. They're about the size of wolves with large curved claws on their hind feet. They've cornered a juvenile ankylosaur, an herbivore covered in bony armor with a massive club on its tail. The young ankylosaur is terrified, swinging its tail wildly to keep the pack at bay. The dromaeosaurs circle, communicating with chirps and whistles. They're coordinating their attack, testing for weaknesses. One darts in and out, drawing the ankylosaur's attention. Another attacks from behind. This is intelligence in action, strategy, teamwork. The ankylosaur's tail connects with one attacker, sending it flying 10 feet backwards. Bones crack. That dromaeosaur won't survive. But the distraction works. 2 others rush in from different angles. Claws tear into vulnerable flesh between armor plates. It's over in minutes. The pack begins to feed on their kill, tearing off strips of meat, calling to each other in triumph. They have no idea that this is their last meal, that in less than 3 hours, the entire world will catch fire. Around the planet, similar scenes are playing out. Millions of creatures going about their daily routines, hunting, eating, mating, raising young. Everything normal, everything as it's been for 165 million years. And then, suddenly, it's not. It's late morning now, about 1 hour before impact. The sky is still blue and clear, no clouds, no hint of what's coming. The T-Rex has eaten her fill and found a shaded spot to rest. She's digesting her meal, drowsy in the heat. Around her, insects buzz. Birds call from the trees. Somewhere in the distance, she can hear the rumble of a herd of something large moving through the forest. It's peaceful, almost serene. She doesn't know that she has 60 minutes left to live. 500 miles away, at the impact site, the water is calm. A few pteranodons circle overhead, hunting for fish. The mosasaurus from earlier is cruising along the sea floor, looking for its next meal.
Everything is normal. But if you could zoom out, if you could see the entire planet from space, you'd spot something terrifying. The asteroid is visible now, a bright point of light growing larger by the second. It's entered Earth's outer atmosphere. Friction is heating its surface to thousands of degrees. The air in front of it is compressing, superheating, beginning to glow. It's still 200 miles above the surface. At its current speed, it will cover that distance in 16 seconds. On the ground, nothing seems unusual at first. Then some animals start behaving strangely. Birds suddenly take flight for no apparent reason, fleeing in random directions. Some hadrosaurs, duck-billed dinosaurs grazing near the coast, stop eating and look up at the sky, confused. Are they sensing something? Changes in air pressure? Electromagnetic disturbances? We'll never know. What we do know is that in the final seconds, the asteroid becomes visible even from the ground. A few pteranodons flying along the coast see it first. A bright streak across the sky, growing impossibly large, impossibly fast. They bank away on instinct, but they're far too slow. The asteroid enters the densest part of the atmosphere. The air around it ignites. It's not just hot anymore. It's plasma, glowing brighter than the sun. The sound is unimaginable, a continuous roar that drowns out everything else. But sound travels slowly. By the time the roar reaches anywhere, the impact will have already happened. 10 seconds to impact. The asteroid is fully visible now, a ball of fire screaming down from heaven. bright enough to hurt to look at, hot enough that the air beneath it begins to burn. Animals across the region look up in confusion. They see something they've never seen before, something their instincts can't categorize. 5 seconds. The water below begins to churn. The sheer air pressure from the asteroid's descent is creating waves. 2 seconds. Every creature in the impact zone, every fish, every dinosaur, every insect, has 1 second left of existence. 1 second. The asteroid hits the shallow sea at an angle of 60 degrees. And time stops. Let me describe what happens in the first second after impact. The asteroid is 6 miles wide, traveling at 45,000 miles per hour. When it hits, it doesn't slow down. It doesn't splash. It doesn't sink. It vaporizes everything in its path. The ocean, thousands of feet of water, is gone in an instant. Just gone. Turned into steam so hot it becomes plasma. The asteroid punches through the water and into the seafloor beneath. It penetrates 20 miles into Earth's crust before its energy is finally spent. The rock of the Earth's crust, normally solid, flows like liquid under this kind of force. It splashes upward in a massive ring. The energy released is equivalent to 10 billion Hiroshima bombs detonating simultaneously. Within a 200-mile radius of impact, nothing survives. Nothing. The ground turns molten. The air turns to fire. Every living thing is instantly vaporized. They don't feel pain. They don't have time to register what's happening. One moment they exist, the next they're atomic particles. But that's just ground zero. The real devastation is what happens next. A shockwave expands outward at supersonic speed. It moves through the Earth's crust like a ripple on water, except this ripple can flatten mountains. The impact creates an earthquake measuring magnitude 11 on the Richter scale. For reference, the largest earthquake ever recorded by humans was 9.5. This is 1,000 times more powerful. When the shockwave reaches the T-Rex, resting 500 miles away, she feels the ground lurch violently beneath her. Trees around her snap like toothpicks. The ground cracks open. She tries to stand, but can't keep her balance. A massive conifer falls across her legs, trapping her. She roars in pain and confusion, thrashing, but she can't free herself. All around her, the forest is collapsing. Other dinosaurs are running in panic, but there's nowhere to run. The entire world is shaking. And then the sky begins to rain fire. Remember all that material that was ejected into space by the impact? It's coming back down now. Millions of tons of rock, vaporized and melted, were thrown so high and so fast that they left Earth's atmosphere entirely. Now they're falling back, heated to incandescence by atmospheric re-entry. Within an hour of impact, the entire planet is being bombarded by glowing meteors. They're not cold rocks, they're molten. When they hit the ground, they explode. Each impact starts a fire. Within minutes, forests across 2 continents are burning. The fires spread and merge, creating firestorms that generate their own weather systems. The sky turns orange, then red, then black with smoke. The temperature at ground level rises to over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The T-Rex, still trapped under the fallen tree, is surrounded by flames. She stops struggling. The heat is too intense. Her lungs are burning with each breath.
This is how the apex predator of the Cretaceous dies. Not in battle, not in glory. Trapped, burning, alone. She's not the last T-Rex to die, but she's one of billions of creatures dying in these first few hours. The world is ending, not gradually, not mercifully, all at once.
But here's what's remarkable. Not everything dies. While the surface burns deep underground in burrows and caves, some creatures survive the initial impact. Small mammals, our distant ancestors, tiny furry creatures about the size of mice, stay hidden in their tunnels. They can hear the chaos above, the roar of wind, the crack of falling trees, the screams of dying animals. But they stay underground, and that saves them. Some freshwater turtles survive by diving deep into rivers and lakes where the water protects them from the heat. Some crocodiles survive in the same way. Crocodiles are incredibly resilient. They can slow their metabolism, survive without food for months. They'll make it through. Some birds survive too, small ones that can hide in crevices, that can survive on insects and seeds instead of large prey. But the giants, the dinosaurs that ruled for 165 million years, they're done. Within weeks, most dinosaur species will be extinct. Not from the impact itself, but from what comes after. The dust and smoke in the atmosphere block out the sun. The entire planet plunges into darkness. Temperatures drop. Photosynthesis stops. Plants die. Then the herbivores die. Then the carnivores die. It takes months, but the outcome is inevitable. 75% of all species on Earth will disappear. The age of dinosaurs is over. But here's the thing, life doesn't end. It transforms. Those small mammals hiding underground, they'll emerge into a world without large predators, a world full of opportunities. Over millions of years, they'll evolve, they'll diversify, they'll grow larger, they'll develop bigger brains. One day, their descendants will walk upright, will build cities, will develop language and art and science, will look up at the stars and wonder where they came from. That asteroid didn't destroy life, it transformed it. Because from that moment of devastation, from that single second of unimaginable violence, a new world was born. Our world. The dinosaurs had their day. For 165 million years, they ruled this planet. They were successful, diverse, magnificent. But in a single morning, it all ended. Not because they were weak, not because they deserved it, just because a rock from space happened to arrive at exactly the wrong time. And in their absence, something else rose, something smaller, weaker, but more adaptable. Us. The extinction of the dinosaurs was the beginning of mammals, the beginning of primates, the beginning of humans. We wouldn't exist without that asteroid. Every time you look up at the night sky, remember this. We're here because 66 million years ago, the world ended. And from that ending came a new beginning. Life doesn't just survive. It persists, it adapts, it finds a way. The dinosaurs are gone, but their descendants still fly in our skies every day. Birds are dinosaurs, just smaller ones. The lineage continues. And maybe one day our civilization will end too. Maybe another asteroid will come, or maybe something else will change everything. But life will find a way. It always does. That's the real lesson of the last day of the dinosaurs. Not that everything ends, but that from every ending, something new begins. And if that story moved you, If you believe these ancient voices deserve to be heard, hit that subscribe button, because here, every extinction becomes a lesson. Every ending becomes a beginning. The dinosaurs lived, the dinosaurs died, and because they died, we live. That's the story of the last day, the day the world ended, and the day our world began.